Hello and welcome back to Frogboy X1 Gaming. I'm Andrew and today we're going to do a little bit different type of video today. Seeing as I get a pretty fair amount of pushback when it comes to like AMD and covering these AMD cards, and you get comments like right here, like this fella right here. Sure dude, AMD is the holy grail, you're boring AF, rinse, repeat every video, good job. So I wanted to take a minute and go through and like maybe answer some of these comments on this freaking video. So we got from Reclaimer 3 minutes ago, still hanging on to my RTX 3080 10 gig, still haven't the upgrade as of yet, but for me I could go either way, team green or team red. Still to each his her own, gonna try out DLSS 3.5 when it comes out for Cyberpunk 2077. That's cool. I definitely don't want anybody to put themselves in a financial a financial problem just to upgrade, on something that I'm enjoying. I would really don't want you guys to have to do that. Let me see something real quick. I feel like this screen capture thing is a bit out of like frame or something. Okay, there we go. Now we're in the frame better. It works better. Yeah, Reclaimer, hang on to it as long as you can, bro. Try to get the most out of it. 3.5 DLSS, hopefully it will work out some magic for you to be able to keep that card and help you from having to spend more money to upgrade, because at the end of the day, none of us want to have to keep spending money to upgrade our graphics card just to play the video games that we want to play. So if it works for you, buddy, it works for you. I'm all for you being able to get the most out of there. This guy right here, man, like Nvidia 878, sounds like he's 100% all about Nvidia. These AMD videos clearly cause this guy a little bit of mental like issues or something to have to be able to come and watch these videos and then post these comments on every single one. Maybe this guy gets money from Nvidia or whatever, but sure dude. Oh, I already read that one. All right, at the Mile High Wanda Gaming. The Mile High Wanda Gaming, what's up, man? This is a comparison from Gamers Nexus. The glean is that for the money, the 7900 XT is the better value, but that's about as far as it goes. As it said, Nvidia did Radeon a favor by setting their prices too high, and to be clear, there are things the 3080 does better than the 7900 XT. Not often, but there is. You're right. There's like Cyberpunk. It definitely can give you a better experience playing that with the path tracing. That is something that is 100% true. But in most of my testing on my setup and with what I had, pretty much everything was the same. The only thing that's changed now is the motherboard, the motherboard, the GPU and the CPU now have all been changed. I am noticing a significant improvement over the 3080 in pretty much everything, including with ray tracing, except for like Cyberpunk, and I'm getting about the same experience with The Witcher 3 as I was getting with the 3080, which with ray tracing enabled. So I don't think that in terms of like other things like work type stuff that Nvidia is clearly better at, when it comes to just gaming, I don't see the 70. I definitely see the 7900 XT as a better choice over the 3080. Then we got, let me I gotta heart these things, or they or they just stay there, and I don't get like the newer comments. Just got a Red Devil 7800 XT, man, what a great card, loving it. Nice Kaiser Solo, that is awesome, man. I hope you enjoy that card. Kaiser Solo, bang on right about Digital Foundry, the Nvidia marketing channel. LOL, maybe it's not that bad, but they are biased. I mean, yeah, they definitely, in my experience with watching Digital Foundry, is They are quick to point out the positives for PlayStation and Nvidia, while quick to point out the negative flaws on Xbox and AMD. And Intel is kind of like a middle person right now. They haven't really taken a stance on Intel right now because when it comes to Intel CPUs, they are definitely more quick to promote and show off the Intel CPUs as opposed to the AMD. You'll notice that like the 3600 is the test bench, the 3600X is the test bench for Alex Battaglia when he does like the AMD stuff as the lower tier or mid tier CPU or something. It all makes sense once it starts to work out. Yeah, like I'm not gonna fault the guys for their preferences. Obviously, they prefer Nvidia. Obviously, they prefer AMD. Obviously, they prefer Intel when it suits them. You know what I mean? Like I'm in the class right now where AMD is working really well for me, so I'm really excited about that. So I keep making content on it. I don't see you guys in Nvidia or in Digital Foundries or any of these other guys' comment section telling them to quit covering Nvidia all the time like they do. It only appears to happen to channels that kind of favor or lean toward AMD. I kind of feel like that's when everybody decides to show up. Ryanair says, keep going, keep Walker, Frog Walker. Okay, man, I will do that. John Doe says 7800 XT is the best value, but it needs to be like $200. Constant BS like that. They just want AMD to drop Nvidia prices, not to have a good product. I say they need to STFU and just buy a Radeon. Then they don't need to worry about the poor value of a 4060. Stop buying Nvidia. That's the real answer. You know, John Doe, I do 100% agree. I do feel like every single piece of coverage that comes out toward AMD is almost like a hey man, look at this card, but dang man, if they just had a cheaper price, I could 100% recommend this. And that's the way I feel when it comes to AMD, and that's pretty much the coverage you're going to see everywhere. Yeah, this is a great value, but gosh dang, if it was just a little bit cheaper, if that 7700 XT was just $50 cheaper, I'd say jump on it. I'd say, but you might want to consider the 4060 Ti because it gets like 2 games that have a little bit better performance than ray tracing. I 100% agree, man. That's that really does the way that these guys. Okay, so here's the thing: if you watch a channel and you like the person that is on the channel, the presenter, the host, whatever, and you like them, and then you listen to what they say, that kind of does impact and influence the decisions that you make. Just like me, man. Like when I'm sitting here talking good about AMD, you have people like Kaiser Solo right here. He just got himself a 7800 XT, and I do believe that he was going to be happier with that card for longer than he would have been with one of the Nvidia cards. Like I do just believe that he'll be happier. Let's see. So the Mile High Wanda Gaming. What's up again? So I have been an AMD dude the whole time. I've known how to use and build computers. I'm also not an Nvidia bro, but do you have to use Nvidia card? But do have to use Nvidia cards. So I am happy. So I'm really happy that you love your Radeon card. Here's the thing: I heard you compare your new card to your old one. Let's be clear. Yes, your new card is better than the old one because it's a newer generation of card. Issue is your card isn't the 3080's competition, and I know that the Radeon is still behind Nvidia, so I don't want to pile on. The 4080 actually mops the floor with your card, just like the 3080 mopped the 68 and 6800 XT. Everything about the Radeon cards is one gen behind what Nvidia is doing. Radeon has come a long way since the RX 580 days. Don't get me wrong, but I would love for you to stop comparing the way you are. The 7900 XT is a great card. Just know what the competition is to your card for the fair one. Your card is placed against a 4080 and its performance shows why it costs more. Nvidia has always been more expensive than Radeon. The other point is DLSS is way more superior to FSR, and the devs on purpose don't optimize for all cards. BGS was Starfield. You have slanted takes like the one you had for Starfield. I've seen the Starfield DLSS mod in action, and yes, the 4080 mops your card. The scaling is different as well. AMD performs better than Nvidia at lower resolutions with no RT. That's about it. Sorry, brother. Just facts. Look at Jay's 2 cents or Bit, Paul's Hardware, Linus Tech Tips, or Gamers Nexus, or any of the other guys that, or to really find out what is going on with those cards and placed in a product stack from there. You know, I always got you because I love what you do. Just want to help clarify things for the GPU. Okay, well, the Mile High won the game, and let's break this down, man. This is a pretty long thing. So, right here, you say that I'm comparing my 7900 XT to the 3080 because it's not the competition. Well, the 3080 is pretty much on par with the 4070 Ti, which my card is supposed to be comparing to in the price range. But when you say things like 3080 mopped the 6800 and 6800 XT, I don't find that to be the case. Seeing as the 6800 XT is actually destroying the 3080 in these newer games, absolutely destroying them, being able to run them because it has the VRAM to do it. So when you say things like the 3080 mops the 6800 and 6800 XT, that right there just kind of makes me feel like you're trying to say this stuff in a condescending way to me to make me feel like you know what you're talking about and I don't know what I'm talking about. But the 3080, dude, was getting destroyed, and the 4080, it's not mopping the floor with the 7900 XT. It's slightly ahead. Slightly. When you say mopping the floor, when you see the little test bench thing and they're like, oh, this one's 78 or 23 or 15% faster. Like I said in the live stream the other day, that's literally like 6 or 7 frames, bro. That's 6 or 7 frames. Mopping the floor to me would be like, yeah, man, the $1,100 or the $1,200 4080 is 53 frames ahead of the 7900 XT. That to me is mopping the floor. Anything within 30 frames per second, that's not mopping the floor. To me, that's not mopping the floor. Especially if both of them are well over 60 frames a second, pushing up to 100 frames a second like I'm getting in a lot of these games. That's not mopping the frame, bro. That's pretty much like not even a little bit better optimization from the developers for the AMD card might put those cards a lot closer together than what you're saying that the 4080 is getting. And as for not covering this card against the 3080, let's break that down just a little bit. My 3080 experience, I thought that card was going to last me a lot longer. It stopped being performant for me when the new games started coming out. 7900 XT, I paid about the same price for that card, and it significantly blows that 3080 out of the water and allows me to play these newer games. So yeah, and I feel like the 6950 XT or the 6900 XT is pretty much in a good space, in a good place too, compared to my 3080 experience. So when I compare these cards, it's me saying like, yeah, you have your 3080, but you can more than definitely get the performance you were expecting out of that 3080, out of the 7900 XT, and you would still be within the price of buying like a 40 or like a 3090 or 4090 with being able to buy that card. You're not going to get the performance of a 4090, but you already wasted that half of that money on that 3080, and now you got to spend the other half to get at least up to 3090 performance, because that's what you're getting with the 7900 XT is about 3090 performance. So, all right, we're going to go ahead and move on with this because I just don't feel like this comment is helpful to me at all. This sounds more This sounds more geared toward like, hey, dude, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. So listen to what these other YouTubers say, as opposed to what your own eyes tell you. I'll never look at another YouTuber's content when it comes to PC stuff ever again after buying like the 3080 and getting into Nvidia. Dude, I will never buy based off their recommendations again, man. Like, I will just look at the things myself and decide which company's marketing makes me more excited going forward. Because that's about the way it is. Like, listening to these guys versus listening to the PR, you're pretty much in the same boat either way, bro. It just depends on which YouTuber you like the most to have them help you find the card you want. Like, I don't expect anybody to go out and buy stuff off of my recommendations, man. Like, I don't. I'm just giving you my unbiased 100% opinion when it comes to this stuff. Because we could sit here and look at graphs and things all day long. Unless your PC is exactly what they're using, you're probably not going to get exactly the results they're getting. So you're just shooting in the dark anyways, no matter what. Like FSR2 quality and really looking forward to FSR3. Yeah, FSR2, depending on the game. Certain games look way better than others with it. Some games just have like that. They still kind of tend to have that like PlayStation checkerboard rendering look with FSR2 sometimes. Never really was a big fan of checkerboard rendering, but it wasn't so terrible that I couldn't play the game. So I feel like I'm just right at home. All right, Vance G, thank you for the comment. Diabloso OV36. I've given up on watching technical analysts for PC games, as they just sound like Nvidia marketing these days. DLSS this, DLSS that. Is becoming extremely tiresome. I get it. It does some nice things. Amazing that what hardware accelerated AI can do, but holy hell, they don't need to repeat the same stuff every video about it. You do need to enjoy. You do not need it to enjoy a game. The differences, as you say, aren't huge. I feel like the tech tubers have lost a lot of perspective. Just look at console gaming. They have much worse image quality than anything on PC, but no one cares. Well, Diablo, you're right, man. It is getting to a point where most of these guys, they just bang on and bang on. Like, take Alex Battaglia's Starfield content. We covered this on the channel. Take that for instance. He spent most of that video trying to convince you that DLSS is what you need to make that game enjoyable. And I'm sitting here thinking like, dude, I put like 50 hours into this game and I'm really enjoying it, and it looks absolutely incredible on my AMD rig and on my Xbox Series X. Like the stuff that he was pointing out in that video, like we did a live stream and we're looking at that and I'm just like, what are you even talking about, bro? Like this game looks incredible. Absolutely incredible. He spent more time kicking Starfield than actually reviewing that game. And let's put it this way, dude, as a reviewer, he's supposed to review the product. The vanilla version that came out didn't have DLSS, didn't have any of that. Why couldn't he do his review of the vanilla version of that game? This guy literally waited for mods to come out so that he could use DLSS to play that game before he could review it. The same with John Linneman. John Linneman, looks at it and stuff, and like they go out of their way. They go out of their way to discredit AMD to try to make Nvidia look better, and then be like, yeah, man, it's not fair that Bethesda and everybody didn't put DLSS in there. And it's like, dude, if you can literally play Starfield with FSR on your Nvidia graphics cards, and I'm pretty sure it looks. I'm pretty sure that Alex Battaglia has done testing showing that actually FSR is even more performant on an Nvidia card. So what's the problem, guys? Like what's the problem? Like most of the stuff that he pointed out in that video, I didn't even notice. You don't even notice when you're playing the game and you're immersed in the game and you're having fun. Like you don't even notice all the stuff that he was going out of his way to hold up Nvidia on his shoulders. So, all right, we're probably only going to do a few more of these. But I just kind of wanted you guys to get a general sense of like how I like when I read your comments and I think about them and the answers that come to my head. I just wanted you guys to even the ones that are ridiculing me or coming at me. I just want you guys to know that I do read those and I do like I listen to them. But then now you're actually getting to see a chance of me replying to this kind of stuff. All right, so we have Junior Minate. The 4070 Ti is already struggling in many recent titles unless the game has FrameGen or FrameGen mod that saves it. If the newly next-gen recent game doesn't have FrameGen, the 4070 Ti is going to struggle at 1440p native ultra 50% of the time. Regular DLSS may help it some, but with the way the recent games are being released, the 4070 Ti is struggling if you look at the benchmarks for some of these games. You're right, Junior. Minate. I don't know how to say that, brother. But you're absolutely right. And that was the same thing with the 3080. You know, like if it had DLSS to save it most of the time, like it was fine. And having DLSS as the cherry on top, not a big problem, you know. But having to depend on DLSS, and see, here's the thing. This is why I think people get really mixed up, because if you're looking at the game at native 4K and you turn on DLSS and it kind of sharpens up a little bit more of those jaggies that you'll see, and it makes it look just a little bit cleaner or whatever, you'll get this you get this sense of like, yeah, man, DLSS is better. It's the same thing with my LG C2 when I play like an older game or a 1080p game, because the LG C2 has such an incredible upscaler. It automatically just gives you like this sense of like, whoa, this is the best thing ever. And when you're looking at it, like I can go through and I can point out some of the stuff, you know, on the LG C2 upscaler that I'm just like, ooh, man, that's a bit too much. You know what I mean? But it just makes everything look so fluid and so good that you get this sense of feeling like, oh man, I can't play anything without the screen. But then when you go to another screen and you play the same game at like a native resolution, it looks even better. Like if you play a 1080p game on your LG, it looks like the TV, the way the TV makes it looks good. But if you play that same game on a 1080p TV, it looks better because it's native. It looks like all the details there, whereas some of the LG kind of smudges some of the stuff out to make it look hyper better or whatever. It's weird. You just have to see it side by side. And even on my 1440p monitor versus the LG OLED, I can look at them, you know, side by side and just kind of see that there's more detail in the native image than there is in the upscaled image, which is kind of weird. And most people don't talk about that. And I don't want anybody to feel like their LG TV isn't like superior, because dude, it's such a premium experience. I feel like the LG is definitely a premium experience, and I got it. You know, I mean, it was $1,100 or whatever new, but then I got it on sale for $900. So I was like, yeah, that's an incredible deal. Like this, it made me happy saving a little bit of money on that. Vance G again. I feel like I'm back in high school watching the jock that used to hang out with the cool kids suddenly start hanging out with the losers. If it's not clear, the Nvidia crowd are the winners, the AMD guys are the losers. So probably should set off in a different direction, back to Nvidia. If you don't, you'll be like Dreamcast guy says, be taking that L. On a serious note, though, I used the Eco electric lawnmower for the first time yesterday. I'm never going back to a gas mower. It powered through deep grass without a hint of bogging down and into the whole yard without needing a battery recharge. Also, didn't have to breathe mower fumes. Neighbor guy walked up and said that he could barely hear it running. Definitely impressed. Nice, Vance. Well, there you have it. You can get an eco lawnmower, and obviously they're awesome. Yeah, Vance, I tend to do that a lot on this channel, man. I tend to buy the products that everybody says are trash, and I like them. Or I tend to play the games that everybody says are trash, and I find that they're not that bad. And it's weird, you know, that I feel like people go out of their way to damage the reputation of brands over fanboyism, you know, or just being not like necessarily fanboyism, but like you're so worried about what your brand or your company's doing that you just don't care. It's like sports, man. I'm starting to believe that like video games and tech and like the fanboy sides, it's no different than football. It's no different than football or basketball. You'll even have fans out there that could, you know, love one team and but still be able to watch other teams play and root for other teams, man. Like those are the people that are really good. But the fanboy stuff, it does get to be a little bit extreme, and it's a little bit more. So we'll read like these next two because we're getting to about 25 minutes. All right, Radiant all the way for me because I just buy what suits my needs. For the last 4 or 5 years, I've played. It's like 6 games total, but all of those I have over 360 days of playtime in. It's an MMORPG, and it's heavily modded. It doesn't support FSR or DLSS or ray tracing. There's nothing in the game that makes Nvidia a better buy. All I need is pure raster and a lot of VRAM because of the plugin that lets you see the other player mods. Mods like clothes, hairstyles, animations, tattoos, 4K, etc., textures, etc. When you stand in a city loaded with other modded players, well, even 16 gigabytes isn't enough because of all those mods. A 16 gigabyte 4080 becomes a stuttery mess and gets outperformed by a 20 gigabyte 7900 XT quite often. The only Nvidia 4000 series card that would suit my needs is a 24 gigabyte 4090, and no way am I paying that much for a graphics card. So I went with the 79. So I went with the 20 gigabyte 7900 XT, and it's perfect for what I need. I even keep me around. It even keeps me around my monitor's 165 hertz refresh rate at 3440 by 1440. If Nvidia ever gives up the VRAM, ever ups the VRAM, maybe I'll consider switching back. But until then, AMD is my only real option. Yeah, man, VRAM definitely, at least in my brief experience with computers, VRAM has definitely already shown me that more is better. So I definitely will shoot for the higher VRAM cards every time I upgrade, and that's just something that I've found. All right, and that was Collide Cooper. All right, Oglove696. I have watched your channel, but I have not subscribed. The reason I have not subscribed is because I think you are biased and Nvidia did something really bad to you. There's nothing wrong with enjoying an experience you are getting and with your product and sharing it. I have purchased 2 PCs in my life, one with the GTX 1080 1900 and one with the RTX 3080 Ti 1600 back in July 2022. And I've had no issues with the games I enjoy playing. I am looking to get a high-end AMD setup to replace my GTX 1080 because I did not like what Nvidia did by abandoning the 30 series with DLSS 3 frame gen and downgrading the the hardware on the 40 series, but trying to use the previous gen badges to make you think it's an upgrade, plus the overpricing of GPUs. I have been holding off to see more reviews on VR for 7900 GPUs and what FSR3 is going to look like, since that is the direction companies are moving in tech, and also for AMD prices to fall since they devalue their GPUs pretty quick. Yeah, that's definitely true. I've noticed that AMD has been lying about FSR3 for a very long time, and it is throwing me off on purchasing the product, as future games may require upscaling if we gamers let it happen. YouTube recommended your channel once I saw you switch to AMD. I started watching your videos to see your experience. What I'm seeing is that you are an AMD bro now, continuing to divide just like these companies want, which is bad if you're trying to grow your channel, because most people watching you most likely are watching you on the Nvidia GPU like myself. From what I see by watching the big YouTube channels like Gamers Nexus, etc., is that they are not biased when giving benchmarks and get on both sides. and give their viewers a fairly decent recommendation, which is why I subscribe to them. Being a fanboy may help you grow with those that are like-minded, but it will also alienate a lot of viewers who are probably watching you on the Nvidia GPU just like me. Just your 2 cents. Well, Og, here's the thing, man. Here's the thing, Og, love. You think that I'm becoming just an AMD bro. I mean, in a way, that's kind of true. Nvidia, you know, I really don't like the way Nvidia handled the transition to the 4000 series cards, and I don't like the price range that they put those cards in, like you said, because that made me feel like I had to take a lesser product than what my 3080 should have been. That made me feel like having to go down to like a 4070 Ti or a 4070. And I didn't like that. I didn't like feeling like I was getting priced out of the card class that I wanted to stay in. So yeah, that had a lot to do with it. But when it comes to you saying that I'm not fair, that I'm biased, dude, I'm not biased at all. I'm not biased at all. If I had a 4080 right now too, I would be covering that exactly. Like, I wouldn't be lying about it. I would not be lying about a 4080 if I had a 4080. But I went with AMD. And I'm not going to sit here and try to promote Nvidia products like all the other channels that you just named do. I'm not going to sit and promote all the features that the AMD card guys have or the Nvidia card guys have over what I have. That doesn't make any sense to me. The only thing that I have to compare my experience to was my experience with my 3080. So if it sounds biased to you, it's just because I'm showing people what they could have if they went with AMD, which is definitely a better experience than you're going to be getting on the 30 series stack. So man, I'm starting to lose my voice. And then we got C5. This is the last one. Well, this one here goes into a whole thing. So he is being honest, man. He got burnt hard by Nvidia. But I do think a part of it was being new to PC and finding and figuring it out. This is why you need a balance with. That's why you need to balance this with Hub, Digital Foundry, and Gamer Nexus, etc. Because they look at it from an experience standpoint. And look at Nvidia's strengths too. Like today in the stream, Fox said the Digital Foundry are comparing DLSS 3 to FSR 2. Whose fault is that? AMD. We got to remember it's halfway through this gen and AMD haven't delivered FSR 3 yet. Damn, Nvidia cards got frame gen before AMD cards on Starfield and AMD title. Froggy is being a little lenient. Froggy is being very lenient with AMD here. To me, it's not good enough from AMD's end. Now to balance this out, he is right about Nvidia, pricey, anti-consumer, and greedy. Don't care about gamers. Think about MBG. He got burnt by Xbox. That's why he is the way he is. Frog got burnt by Nvidia. Frog will be the MBG for AMD. Ultimately, as a consumer, I want the truth. Like, if my 4080 is trash, it has flaws, great guess. What if I'm on 5080 or 5090 next card and AMD can give me the quality upscaler, path tracing and RT, good base card. I'm not on an Nvidia card. Next upgrade, like, I'm not gonna complain or be salty. Time to upgrade. No point being salty over of what I'm missing out. Man, my voice is like getting really bad. So, all right, man. I appreciate your guys' feedback. I do. We'll definitely like revisit this. We'll see how this goes, and maybe we'll revisit this and do another video like this. But man, my voice is like feeling really really weak today, man. I'm feeling kind of sick. So if you guys like, and plus I'm having a hard time reading all this, so if you guys like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. Let me know how you feel in the comment section about this. I definitely read your comments, so we'll definitely talk about some of this. It might just be a video or something, but all right, my friends, we'll see you guys in the next one.